Morning again, YouTube. You just saw me outside. I was outside doing the Eastman B-3 thing here on a very cold morning in Minnesota. Like I said, about 17 below zero. And I had on a different version B3 to take outside and give it a test. A little t-shirt test. Just the jacket and the t-shirt. So I'm going to go through a little more detailed look at both Eastmans that I have right now, and I use them both for these exceptionally cold days here in Minnesota. So I'm going to go through and take a detailed look, show you guys a detailed look of what we have, and see what you guys think. Leave comments. I always appreciate the comments. Any questions you have, I'll do my best to answer them. And I really enjoy the feedback and the interaction on YouTube. So this is Boucher B. So here we go. And we'll take a look at some of these jackets here. Turn this on. So this is the one I was wearing this morning, and it's a size 44 B3. This is the 50 cal. It's a size 46. This is the one I was wearing last year when I was outside and we had that polar vortex going on. Both of these fit pretty well. This one's slightly bigger on me. I guess ideally I would be a size 45 if there was a choice of that. But that's the B3 50 caliber version. Again, it's got the broken grain. I've actually had it for a while, so I've done quite a bit of the breaking in myself. But as you can see, the leather is fantastic. It's double stitched along here. It's got the these are old rank epaulets, so the air crews back in World War II, because these are patterned after the original jackets from World War II, would sew their rank onto these leather tabs and then sew those tabs down onto the coat. So, and that was for pilots and all the way through the aircrew. And then you have the double collar, double chin strap, collar strap here. Again, pretty well broken in. I've had to use it several times this year already. Then you got the pocket. This pocket's actually pretty handy. There's only one pocket. I'm not a big pockets guy. I don't like to stick my hands in pockets. That's why we have gloves for when it's really cold out. And this, you can see the russet horsehide, kind of a seal brown here on the outside. So it's a nice two-tone, kind of more subtle two-tone than what you would have with this other version here. But again, both these jackets have the very famous lining inside. Devon sheepskin is what they use. This is an off color, so with your 50 cal, you're going to get a slightly more off color insulation from the sheepskin on this. I think they might be sourced from a different line of sheep. I'm not for sure on that. Over here, you're going to get a little bit fluffier skin on the inside, but again, ethically sourced from these sheep over in Scotland, Great Britain area. So this is a size 44. Done some breaking in. It's not quite as broken in on as the other B3 I've been using. But the thing to take note of, and the thing that I had to change on this, both these zippers have had to be redone. So the original crown zipper that was spec'd for these coats originally isn't all that durable. So I ran into problems with both of these coats, so I opted for different zippers on both of them that are making it a little bit more practical. So from an originality standpoint, from it being original on both sides, it's not. So I went ahead and I had a zipper installed on this size 44, definitely more stout. I just put this on here to help zip it up and down. But that's a different zipper. It's not it's a smaller tooth, but it's not the number 5, I think, crown zipper is what they had. On this one, the size 46, definitely a very stout zipper. I use this jacket quite a bit more, and it works quite well. So it doesn't detract, I don't think, from the overall look of the coat. I certainly don't get any oblong looks from anybody because of it. So, but yeah, the zippers did present a problem for me. So one of the things that I do, you can see on the inside of the coat here some rubbing. That's because I wear these coats, I cinch up the waistband straps. So if you look here, I have them cinched up quite a bit. Number one, because I can, and number two, it actually goes quite a bit, a long way to keeping the cold air from filtering underneath the coat and getting up onto your body where you don't want it. And I also do it on the 44 here as well, but not quite to the same extent because it is a smaller coat. So what you will get on the inside is you will get some bunching up of the sheepskin on the inside if you do that with the waistband straps. But again, very, very handy to have these. It's an excellent added feature to keep that jacket cinched up at the waist, and it was by design originally, so that you wouldn't get cold air. Crews would not get cold air up underneath these coats and onto their bodies. The other thing you have to keep in mind with these coats as well, they are not built long. So in other words, they're not long in the torso. Originally, the pilot crews, they had these coats. If you look at flight jackets in general, they're built, I fly myself, they're built short in the torso because you don't want to sit on them. Basically, when you're in the cockpit, you don't want to be sitting on that coat. So they are built on a shorter scale in the torso. And that's the same thing as you'll find with these jackets as well. They are built on a shorter scale in the torso. But a very good looking coat. Flip it around here. As you can see, the back of the 44 here, the way to tell some of these manufacturers apart was the way they designed the back paneling. So Werber would put the cross member a little bit higher up on the upper back. Okay. If you look at the back side of the 50 cal, there's simply one stitch seam going down to separate both panels, and then you had a cross seam at the bottom here. That's a very distinguishing way of looking at and being able to tell the difference between an Eastman B-3 and an Eastman of a different contract, right? Again, both made by Eastman. The original idea with these flight jackets was that the paneling, if flak were to come into the aircraft or something were to puncture the leather paneling, that these stitched seams would stop the rip at the seam, and you'd only have a small amount of damage based on what panel that the flak actually entered into, so it wouldn't tear the entire coat. Over here, much bigger use of panels as far as the sheepskin panels go, down across the bottom here. This is really more indicative of an earlier version of the coat before they went to this over here. This would be a later contract. These were expensive to make. Original B-3 bomber jackets were very expensive to make, and so that's why you don't see a lot of them now, because they used to lacquer them. They used to put a lacquer finish on them, and it wound up actually destroying the coat over time. So again, with Eastman, they've made some very, very good reproductions, probably the best reproductions out there. And as far as functionality and practicality in exceptionally cold weather, nothing beats them. So that's it as far as I've got. If you got questions, don't hesitate to chime in and send me some comments, and I always welcome them, and send me some criticisms if you like. I'll take it. Meh, no biggie. So, it's Boucher B signing off. I'll talk at you again soon. From the air next time. Take care. Bye.